We want to start with a fresh piece of paper by putting down a dot in the upper left. That's going to be the center. When we are drafting this on the actual pattern paper with the real size, that center is the first thing that goes on the floor and the last thing that comes off. It's a really, really important reference point. From that center, I'm going to go and draw a horizontal line and then measure along that line my radius, whatever your radius is. Mine is 8.4. So I measure it here. And then I also measure it going vertically down. So I measure also my radius there. So draw a line, measure the radius 8.4. And then draw an arc of a circle. If you have a compass, great. If you don't, you're stuck to do it like me. And this is how I do it on the floor too, when I did my actual drafting. Just measure all around at the radius. Like that. And then join that, join that curve. So now we have our quarter circle. All right. And then what we want to do is, and this you can do, this is what I'm going to do following this, is really temporary construction lines that can be erased later on. So if you're working in pencil, great. I'm going to use pen so that you can see clearly what's going on. But what I'll do is I'm going to take this point and that point and draw a line in between them. And all this complication that's going on right now is because I'm not using a protractor. If you have a protractor, that would be a lot easier, but it's good to learn to do it this way, because when you do the actual fabric, unless you're really equipped and you have like a really big protractor, this is more precise. And I'm not equipped. I don't even have a small protractor, so this is it. For me, I have a ruler. So what I want to do is divide that angle by 2. And so once I draw this line, it comes out to be 12, and I'm going to draw a halfway point, and I'm going to draw that line. So we had a quarter of a circle, and now we have eighths, because the half of a quarter. So each of these is an eighth. And remember that we want to take 3/8 of our half a circle. So that means that we need to take out not this whole eighth, that'd be too much. We want to take out half that eighth. And so we repeat the process. Put a dot here. Draw a line like that. And then take half of that. 6.2. Why are you being difficult? Okay, half of it is 3.1. And draw the line through that. Now this line is a real one. So if you have a pen, draw that one nice and thick, because this is an actual line. And as a matter of fact, extend it. Because this you can all of this that's above it was all construction stuff. You can erase all of this. But this is the edge of our skirt here. So you want to keep that. And this is going to be the waistline, which, remember, is big enough to wrap around 3 times around our waists. But anyway, it'd be the waistline. So this is the beginning of a skirt here. And then the next few steps are not too difficult. Remember your short length, it comes here. So for me, that was 50 centimeters, or scaled down by a factor of 10 was 5 centimeters. So you're going to measure your short length from the edge, from the waist. And so I'm going to measure it from here, 5 centimeters down, so here. And then I'm also going to measure that 5 centimeter down here. So I did not draw my line long enough. Let's extend it and do that 5 centimeters. So those are two important reference points. We'll use them to construct the hem of the skirt. The next thing we need to do though is to find the midpoint of just this arc. So we can't use that because this was the midpoint of the entire quarter arc. So this is, you know, those lines are now, you can also delete them. We don't want them. I need to find the midpoint of just this part. So same method, I'm going to take this point and that point and join them. Measure, I get 9. Good Lord, 9.4. 4.5 plus 2, okay, 4.7 I do believe. Those numbers are not treating me nicely. And then you draw the line from the center to that point and extend it also nice and long. Along that line, we are actually going to measure our long length. So for me, scaled down by a factor of 10, that was 7 centimeters. So I'm going to measure from the waist 7 centimeters. Make sure it's still in the frame. All right, 7 centimeters. And then you'll see me do this in the actual pattern drafting. What I do is I draw lines of reference. So draw this line and draw that line. And that's the hem of our skirt. And it's got a point here. And I like to have that rounded. And so what I do is you kind of eyeball it, but maybe take a point. For me to hit up, I remember I used 35 centimeters. It looked like it was working well. So I took a point over here and a point over here. This is completely eyeballing. Your goal is to round this nicely. So I'm gonna have to rotate this because it's gonna be really hard for me to draw the curve otherwise. So I start from this point and I go to the other point, symmetrical on the other side. Oh, it's so much easier to do on this page. In the real life, or on the real size pattern, this is quite hard to do. Look at that. I'm so proud of myself right now. Come on, pen, right. And there you go. So this is the bottom hem. This is the side. And this is the waist. And that's what we are going to draw. So this is going to be our piece of pattern paper. And then you're going to take this piece of pattern paper, put it on the fold of the fabric. And when you unfold your fabric, you have a whole skirt. Over here. You get the whole skirt. This is a good time if you want to see how this will fit on the fabric. It's a good time to look at it. The uneven hem actually works out really nicely, I discovered, and I chose to do it this way. I don't know what the original pattern has, but I just made it straight here. Just a straight line, joining the curve that I just drew, and then the symmetrical on the other side. And so this whole arc, I mean, all of this fabric is going to be waists, but on this side and that side, you don't have as much waist as you get if we did a regular half circle skirt. So yeah, it works out pretty nicely. And the good thing is I actually used that in order to order my fabric, because I ordered my fabric before I drew the pattern in real life size. I don't necessarily recommend doing that. But I was able to use that. So I drew here lines to think, well, I need my fabric to be a minimum of this width. Oh, one more thing. This is the short one. So what I did here is I added 20 centimeters, or on this scale would be, I think I ended up doing a little less. At any rate, the fabric that I ordered is way wider than this. This is 44 inches. Mine is like 56 inches. So I know that length, width-wise, I have plenty of room. And then, as you always do when you order fabric, I also ordered extra length. So I'm pretty hopeful that this will work pretty well. But this is a time, you have a 1/10 scale version add the longer layer to it and measure and multiply by 10, and this is how much fabric you'll need. And I realized this went off the screen, but there you go. Yeah, just measure the width and get how much fabric you need. So I hope this this gave you an idea of what's going on, because the next step is to take this drawing and put it on actual real life-size pattern paper, and that's a whole different process. It's worth I filmed the whole process, so that's the next video.